camera?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I love it.
Welcome to the Mahdiy and Joe Show.
Right? Yeah.
We're pouring tequila.
We're pouring tequila. This is Eret tequila from Jalisco.
I've never heard of this tequila before, but the bottle is thick glass, so I'm trusting the quality.
It has a picture of a horse on it.
Stallion.
Stallion.
What is a stallion a certain type of horse, or are all horses stallions?
Well, that's what originally drew me to the tequila, is because it's real tequila. It's from Jalisco, Mexico. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, real tequila will really try to like make the bottles be like Mexican
Very
for Americans.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where they really try to church up the fact that this is from Mexico.
Right.
Where this is just tequila with a horse on the bottle.
Not trying to oversell it.
Not trying to oversell it in that way. Because, of course, they have horses in Mexico. So they're just like, no, we have horses.
You know,
on this
speaking
farm.
of which, and cheers. Happy Sunday. I watch a lot of foreign films, and I was like, all these foreign films, all these motherfuckers have easy access to horses. Like everybody has a horse.
Yeah.
You know, like I was watching a Romanian film, and this family had a horse, and I was, you know, a Argentinian film and another Latin American film, and it's like all these motherfuckers have horses.
I was just out in Utah, and I was driving around the small towns, and they had out there at the high schools, they had like rodeo corrals like next to the football fields and everything. And I'm
Really?
like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah.
Horses
So
are a
there
real thing everywhere except in New York City. And that's another thing I noticed about a lot of films I watch in Southern America. Motorcycles are a real big thing.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the whole like the motorcycle diaries. and all
Everyone has a
that.
motorcycle or some type of moped, and even like you know, I work as a doorman, and you know, a lot of the delivery drivers or whatever who are Spanish or whatever the correct terminology from Latino or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're particularly adept on the mopeds. Like they ride them shits in the winter.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they stay on the mopeds, bro. You typically think of these other countries as you know, a little underdeveloped and maybe a little bit more impoverished, but it takes money to have a horse.
Yes, that I feel that if you have a horse, there's a couple of things going on with horse culture, right?
Right.
It's like it is a rich person thing, but then if you just grow up in certain areas, it's accessible to you because rich people things are accessible to you because you grew up in this area.
Right.
Like, it's like if you grow up in Colorado, I'm sure your school's just like, yeah, it costs a fortune for everyone else to ski, but just
This is
because
just
you
part
go
of
to,
life here.
You go to
Yeah.
school here, the mountain gives you like a fucking local deal.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, I
you
get
know,
that.
$250 for the season for just you. And
I get that.
some rich person gives you their old skis, which are probably better than most people's new
Or they have
skis
skis
and
at the thrift stores and
shit like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? You get religious cultures, like, and I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but like Muslim cultures and stuff where the women are like covered from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
And like the dudes over there are like horny as fuck because all the women are covered. And then you have these tribes where like everyone's naked and everyone's cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
well,
It
that's the
is
same.
something
Well, that's the
about-
same thing they say about European culture versus American culture.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, of course, there's
Something about making it taboo. That
yes, yeah.
drives
I mean, yeah,
people crazy.
absolutely. You know, capitalism ruins everything.
Dude, drugs in general have just gone up so much. I mean,
Well, it's
drinking
like
at a
it's
bar-
like this money culture came into weed with hip hop and shit, where it's like, oh, well, you gotta buy a $700 bag of weed or else you're smoking trash. You know what I'm saying? It's like I go into these weed stores now. And it's like, you know, I scroll through the menu or whatever, and it's like, you know, for 3.5, it's like $90.
You're a guy I always admire because you always dress sharp and you always look sharp. But you're not a logo guy whatsoever.
I've never been a logo guy ever.
I love that about you.
No, I've never been a logo
I love that
guy.
about you. Because when you're not a logo person, dude, you can really just go to a thrift store and walk out looking like $1 million.
Yeah, it's you know, there's a
Truly, if you're not a logo person, and
yeah,
you got a good eye for
I
fashion.
mean,
you know what
I mean, personal style is one thing. It's like you got to have style about yourself. But I just never. I always thought it looked tacky. You know, nothing against anybody that does it, but just for me personally, I never liked the look of it because it kind of dates you. You know, I remember when the phenomenon came out with, with the weed. Hey, I got Osama bin Laden.
Oh yeah,
I got the Incredible Hulk.
That was the thing. Osama bin Laden.
It's just like, yo, I just want weed, bro. Just give me some fucking weed. You don't gotta fucking dress it up. Just give me some fucking weed, man. February 2025 in USA, America. We're at peak consumerism, peak capitalism. Like, we're at the tipping point.
What does that mean? Peak consumerism, peak capitalism?
I mean, it's just like we're about to bust, man. Everything is
Oh yeah. I think everyone wants the most they can possibly get money-wise in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah. I'm probably in high school or just after high school. And for whatever reason, it might have been a magazine article, but it was saying that America is the only country where people want to be filthy rich. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that was a overstatement or exaggeration. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of places where people want to be filthy rich. But it was like basically the culture of America is to get this extreme obnoxious wealth. And, everywhere else in the world, people just want to, like you say, they just want to have enough money to chill.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. When I was younger, my heroes, the people I love, are not the people who have a bunch of money, but the people who have the coolest stories.
Right.
And the people who made the greatest effect on the world.
Yeah.
And I think just sometimes it feels like you have to have money in order to do that.
I mean, even with Elon Musk, it's like, everybody acknowledges he's like, the super richest man on planet Earth, but everybody knows he's a fucking goofball. Like, nobody likes him. You know what I'm saying?
Got it, yeah.
But everybody's like, okay, yeah, he's got all this money, but he still comes across as awkward. Or Zuckerberg.
I just think what I always find so weird about those people is certain things that they say like make sense, but then they go like, and this is my opinion on something really, really, really esoteric that I know nothing about, and now you all have to do that because I have a bunch of money. And that's where I get like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're like kind of...
Shut up and dribble.
Yeah, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, stick with the electric cars, bro. You're doing great with that. 100%. Shut up and
just put the fries in the bag, bro.
Truly.
I saw this interesting theory the other day on the Talk Tick where she was like, maybe he just sold the presidency to Elon, and he was like, yo, it's just like, I'm gonna just let you run it, bro.
Guy who controls a branch of social media. That's what it all kind of came down to, right? Is if you had access to a branch of social media, you could get your shit out there into the world. You know what I mean?
He's like, yo, just make sure I win. I'm gonna let you run shit. Of course, we're not gonna make that an official, but I'm gonna just let you run shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's And I say this with all due respect. Nobody knows how evil and wicked the white man in America can be except black Americans and Native Americans. That's why you got a lot of people here from other countries and shit, as far as like first generation immigrants who was like, yeah, I'll vote for Trump. And black people was like, yo, do not vote for that motherfucker. Not to say that the Democrats would have been any better. I'm not getting into this whole argument. But what I'm saying is, Native Americans and black Americans know what the white man is capable of in America. Like, we know. I feel like leftists really need to start claiming back, because I'm very proud to be an American. I'm proud to be from Philly. I've never left America. I'm very proud to be an American. What I will say as an American right now, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Because
in regards to like Trump and everything?
This is an incredible this is an incredible thing to witness. I mean, we're watching Vesuvius explode. We are the dinosaurs watching the comets falling from the sky, and it's amazing. Now, it's scary, but it's fucking amazing. And like, as they say, what a time to be alive, man.
I've been obsessed with this my whole life, and I kind of zoom out, and this is like this one weird thing. Not my whole life, but a big portion of my life, I've been obsessed with this idea. And the idea I've been obsessed with, I grew up right-wing Catholic, and when you grow up Catholic, the big thing is they keep on saying this idea of the Word of God, right? And so everything's like, this is the Word of God. And so when you say something, when you have questions that go against the Word of God,
they get upset.
They just go, no, like that's just the Word of God, right? And so I kind of became obsessed with that in the sense that like you can't ask questions that go around the words, right?
Cheers. That's my fucking problem.
And because of that, I kind of, this might sound weird, but I became obsessed with like the nature of words and the nature of language, because I always thought that was so fascinating. that like there was the word of God. And I always thought that was just so strange on God's part because God was just so far beyond people. I began to research other philosophies and other ideologies, and I found ideologies that exist, philosophies that exist, where people talk about the unreality of words. They just say, hey, you know, a lot of the problems of the world is the fact that words truly aren't real. The dictionary uses words to define other words, which means that words themselves are a logical fallacy because words are just made up, which makes sense. You make words up. You know what I mean? That's how you invent words. You make words up. But words are the first technology. There's a branch of occultism called theosophy. It's created by this woman named Helena Blavatsky. And in theosophy, what they claim is that there's this place in the back end of our imagination that we're tapped into, which is like this hall of records, which is called the Akashic Records. And the idea is every time that we ideate, specifically if we create things, like if we create something in this world, then that thing, the idea of it, the spiritual essence of that thing gets logged into a library called the Akashic Records on the back end that then becomes universally accessible to all people. It also kind of explains how you had all these like religious figures like Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha, and they all kind of existed near each other in history, and they all kind of came up with the same idea at the same time.
And they all kind of lived the same life. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all a person with extraordinary ethics.
Religious people are people who are, or religious leaders, one commonality they all have is they all go away for really long periods of time and then come back. So Moses goes into exile and then he comes back. Okay. Jesus goes into the desert for 40 days, then he comes back. Right. Buddha goes underneath I forget the name of the tree, the Bodhi tree, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, and Luke Skywalker got frozen in Jabba the Hutt's thing.
Goes away and then comes back. You know what I mean? So
but there's a template to the story, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. 100%,
there's a template to the story.
100%.
But at the end of the day, they all are these extraordinarily good people that do the right thing whenever circumstances.
Yeah,
it never sat right to me that black people so wholeheartedly embraced the Christianity that was given to them.
Oh, that's so weird, dude. I think Christianity is weird to begin with, but then when I see other people, I'm like, what the? Yeah, you know, like I don't follow that shit. So when I see other people, like I don't follow it because I was abused by Christians. Okay. So when I see other people like black cultures following it, I'm like,
I've never understood how that worked out. Like you know, and I've gotten in arguments with family members like, that doesn't make any sense. Like it's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, 100%.
It's 100% Stockholm.
Literally Stockholm syndrome, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I heard an interesting theory the other day where it's like the people that are getting deported from America, the Southern Americans, the Latino brothers, shit like that, they're actually the lucky ones because they're going back to countries that are on the incline. America is on the decline. Because it's all about BRICS right now. I know you know about BRICS.
Jesus, the last war we actually won, where we actually like
decisively.
World War II. Yeah, probably World War II, where we actually, because the Japanese people are part of the West now. I always look at it as like, did we actually convince another country to like join our side? You know what I mean? As an end to the war.
In a long time.
Yeah. Because like after World War II, literally Germany and we came together. Like Germany and Russia, or Germany and Japan started to like acclimate towards the West. You know what I mean? That we like definitively won to the point where like Nazism got dismantled. Yeah. Like, it got wiped away.
It was Kendrick versus Drake. There was no question.
Yeah. Literally, the German people themselves wrote Nazism out of their history.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right, I got a joke about Apocalypto. Apocalypto is one of the most important movies that's ever been made.
Oh, it's one of the best movies ever made. It's actually crazy because I don't even like Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson is one of the greatest art from artists examples of the world.
So like of course I don't agree with the ideologies of that man, but I will tell you this: Apocalypto, Holy fucking shit,
Incredible
dude.
movie.
Dude, it's Rambo in the jungle. It's straight up Rambo in the jungle. It's you go, what is it? It's Rambo in the jungle.
Incredible movie.
And the fact that it's tribes people that acted.
No, but that last scene where they saw the ships coming is
so
just
here,
chef's kiss. That what the story you just told right there is very similar to something I was told when I was young, which is this. The way Christianity and religion neutered the black community from being more anti-establishment is this. They made women so scared that their children would die fighting the powers that they was like, nah, just pray on it. Like don't raise your son to be a don't raise your son to be a warrior. If a black woman would have won the presidency, white people would be out here burning shit down actively.
Dude, that you are right that there would have been and
if
I hate to
Kamala would have won, white people would have lost their fucking minds. At least now. Listen, let me say this. Let me say this.
Fucking minds, dude. You're right.
Let me say this. As a black person, you have to give white people what they want or they will fucking go crazy. They will we know this. We know this. Like, if Kamala would have won, white people would have been burning shit up for the past 2 months or however long it's been. Every black person, every person of color right now, we don't know what Trump will do. Trump might say, lock up all the black people.
What's weird about Trump is he's now telling people like basically how to dress and shit like that. And that's where I'm just like, what the fuck? And once you start telling people how to behave in the sense that, here's my whole thing. If your behavior is innocuous, I go with it. You know what I mean? Mm. But it's starting to become the point where Donald Trump and I guess his cohort Elon Musk are starting to kind of ban innocuous behavior. And what I mean by that is it really will get to the point where people will get labeled as, oh, that guy got killed because he was loud.
The last thing I want to do is alienate anybody because I want to convince everybody that I'm the smartest person in the world. So we're not going to get too political, but I will say this. Always listen to black people. And even beyond all that, I'm going to say this. Just always always make sure you're in a call with Bernie, man. As long as you're in a call with Bernie, you're on the right side of history. And I know this, now people not going to like this, but homegirl too, the chick from the Bronx. But Bernie especially, if you in a call with Bernie, black people was telling y'all, these motherfuckers is crazy. And white boys was like, nah, they funny. Black people was like, bro, you go to war with the army you have and not the army you want. When I was 14 and 15 and into anarchy and shit, we always say, we wanted January 6th to happen, but we wanted us to be doing January 6th. Not the rednecks, not the fucking racists, not the Nazis, not the dummies. I needed to be pissing on Nancy Pelosi's desk, not this fucking redneck. We wanted the good guys to do it. Yeah. But I always knew, and I used to tell people this when I was a kid, when I was younger, if anybody's going to be the one to raise up against the system, it's going to be the white boys. I used to tell people like this because they fucking insane. Yeah, no, listen. Yeah. If a bunch of black dudes would have done January 6th, they wouldn't have got pardoned. The Mahdiy and Joe Show, welcome.
The Mahdiy and Joe Show, man. That's going to be our name.
We just christened the show the Mahdiy and Joe Show.
The Mahdiy and Joe Show, dude. And we'll just get shit-faced every week. Just
the names are important.
Just talk shit.
So let me ask you this. Speaking of names, how you feel about that naming? Like, are you going to call it the Gulf of America or the Gulf of Mexico?
I mean, it's all just weird, such weird gaslighting shit, right? You know what I mean? With that, that's like kind of like the definition of gaslighting, right? Me off?
Remember a couple.
That's like it's such funny because I think that's what gaslighting is.
No, but remember a couple years ago when he renamed Black History Month African American History Month.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
But he didn't cancel Pride Month, did he?
I mean, all of that shit, all those months no longer recognized federally. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, got it. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
there has been a bit of an upheaval on that.
Yo, what really made me mad, because, bro, I've been in... And you can ask Miles and Larry and all them, bro. The last couple Prides, I got more pussy during Pride than I ever had in my life, son.
Dude, I always
joke
around because I like fat chicks and shit. You know what I mean, dude? Something about Pride.
America's not honest with itself. Like, listen, Trump, by all accounts, he's never done drugs and he's not a heavy drinker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Christian nationalists, for the most part, they subscribe to a belief that you shouldn't abuse substances. Okay. We had a president that was a forgetful grandfather with a crackhead son and a hot-ass Sri Lankan black bitch as vice president. That's who we are, bro. Yeah. That's who we are. Why did we elect a bunch of Christian nationalists who don't get fucked up? Joe Biden's son was getting locked up on crack.
You know what it is? You know what it is? No. Mahdiy has a point here. Mahdiy has a point here. Mahdiy has a point here. You have to pick your criminal right now. Do you want Hunter Biden or Donald Trump Jr.? Who do you want actually like getting pussy?
Who do you want to party with?
No, honestly. Like, who do you want? Somebody's getting coke and pussy out of that deal. Yeah.
Bro, we are forgetful grandfather with a crackhead son. Yeah. We are hot Asian bitch. We are hot Asian bitch as a vice president. Yeah. We are not a bunch of Christian nationalists, bro. Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Is me and you live in New York City, and we've talked about this before, man. We live in real America, and a lot of people don't live in real America, dude. They don't.
Beautiful.
A lot of people,
Jesus, that's beautiful.
They don't live in the dream, dude. They don't live in what our forefathers dreamed, man. Our forefathers dreamed a world where people would come, or a country where people would come from all over the world to be here and hang out together. You know what I mean? Dude, no, honestly, right?
No,
they didn't dream of a bunch of white Christian people in a small town, because that's Europe. That's Europe. That's Europe.
No,
they didn't dream of that.
That's the most beautiful thing I ever heard in my fucking life.
They dreamed of people from all over the world. Come here, and you know what? Putting shit aside to do some business.
New York City is where you see the purest form of human interaction.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I can walk outside right now and get on a train and end up in a conversation with an 80-year-old Indonesian woman about the weather.
Oh, Mahdiy, I can't thank you enough, dude, for encouraging me to wear a tie. That was a class move because I wore a tie at Sundance because of Mahdiy, because of this man. And you know what it is? You said, man, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm old school. I'll never forget the quote. Okay? I said, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just old school, but I figure if you dress a certain type of way, you'll have a certain type of time, and maybe you'll meet a certain type of woman. And I'm like, just the way you said it was poetry. You know what I mean? It was poetry. Yes. If you dress a certain type of way, you'll have a certain type of time, and it made me realize. Man, this is what I love about hanging out with artists, what I love about hanging out with comedians, is it's so spiritual. You have such a spiritual outlook to the world. You're basically saying to me, hey, man, what you wear is poetry. It's a part of your art.
It is.
And it's going to have an effect on how you experience the world.
I've realized it's very important, like, to listen to the life of artists, old art, like old symphony, classical pianists, or like Diego and shit. Because a lot of the motherfuckers, they was basically doing the same thing we're doing now in their era. Like, they weren't heralded, they weren't famous, they weren't rich.
They were trying to get by money-wise, getting drunk, going home and sitting at a piano and banging their head against it. Going out to the
about
plays.
To jump off the building.
Yeah, going out to the plays. Why can't I connect? Why do people not like my music? Why do they like
why is this motherfucker
music?
Getting on and I'm not on?
Yeah, all that shit, dude. You 100% know that, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, and just history just tells its own tale.
Who's living in France, you're saying?
No, the African dude that's living in America.
Yeah.
I have less in common with him than I do you.
Yeah, 100%,
and you have less in common with the French guy that might be white as a goddamn feather.
100% than I do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. That's
you
true.
understand nigga culture, and I understand redneck culture.
That's true. That's true. No. I grew up in Connecticut in a truck parts company. No. 100%.
We know each other.
100%, dude. I grew up in redneck culture.
Skinner, you know Run DMC.
Yeah. It's true.
But we don't want to.
I remember showing Cream to my dad, and my dad be like, "This is like a thing," and I'm like, "No, this is like a thing," you know? Yeah. Dude, this is crazy, man, to say. A lot of people don't have the balls to just sit in front of a camera like this fucking casually and say their idea. I know that sounds like a weird, crazy thing to say. Most people don't have the balls to come forward and be like, this is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, it just
you know what I mean? And kind of roll the dice a little bit.
What it is.
You know,
it's like, what are we doing? And I tell my son this. My oldest son, just because you the good guy doesn't mean you got to get beat up. Because he was dealing with some bullies and shit one time as like.
That's a great line, dude.
And I was like, yo, bro, like.
Yeah, just because you're the good guy doesn't mean you got to get beat up.
These guys that weren't tough, that are now tough because they're older and more wise to the world, now they want to be tough. But it's like, bro, you wasn't tough back then. I know you wasn't tough back then. Because I wasn't tough either. But you wasn't tough. But now that you old enough to be tough, you using your powers for bad.